right, what is up, guys? We're here for episode 3, and I think it's going to be a good one tonight. Just running a little bit behind for myself. Sorry, guys. Been working on getting this stuff ready for race season. We're going tomorrow to Capital City, so if you're going to be out of Capital City, we'll see you there. Can everybody see me okay? Do I need to turn a little bit? Yeah. There we go. All right. So we're going to see if we can get Austin on here in just a few minutes. Like I said, we got another announcement later on in the show I'm going to make that's going to change stuff going forward. What's up, Lee? How you doing, man? And you guys got any questions for the late model guys? You can hop on here and post them, and we're going to see if we can get them on here and get Austin on here in just a minute. But like I said, I'm running a little behind, so that's my fault. I know, like I said, Capital's opening up tomorrow. If you're going to be there to be preparing for the Spring Gobbler the week after, come and give us a shout. I've had a lot of good feedback from everybody talking about how positive everything is on here, so we're going to try and keep it positive. We're going to try and stay informative, and we're going to try and also bridge some gaps from different types of racing. You know, if you haven't checked it out, or if you haven't had a chance to, and you'd really like to, practice at Albemarle tomorrow, guys. If you're from that area or you want to go check it out, they got a practice tomorrow. So Doug Johnson was on the show last week. He's president down there at Albemarle, and then Chris Beasley, like I said, I'm going to Capital City. He's the promoter there at Capital. So good tie in there, Lee. Thanks, buddy. Let me see if Austin's ready here. Whew. Sorry, guys. I'm catching my breath. This is crazy. I've been running around like a crazy person all afternoon. All right, so we're just waiting on Austin. What's up? Got to go get this track right. Yeah, Tate, man. I mean, you always get it right anyway, so I don't think anybody's got anything to worry about. You know that track. You know Albemarle like the back of your hand. Tate, he's always commenting on our videos over here, guys. We're going to get him on here sometime soon. He's the track guy. He prepares the surface down there at Albemarle, and I don't care who you talk to, if it's from the Halloween Havoc race or just a Saturday night or VDKA, everybody loves the track. Tate kills it on that track, man. So I'm glad to have you following along, Tate. It's awesome to see that the kind of viewership that we're getting. And like I said, we'll get you on here sometime. Maybe we'll get you and Ike on here. Yeah, Lee, Tate is the best. That's right, buddy. All right. Haven't heard from Austin yet. Let's see if he's gonna pop in here with us. All right, let's see. And our second guest, like I said, is Mason Bailey. He'll be on right around 6:30. So we'll talk to both of those guys. Known Mason for a long time. Austin, he's not somebody that I know well, but I know who Austin is. If you watch racing at South Boston, you're going to know who Austin Thaxton is. And I thought he was a great guest to get on here and get a perspective like that. And, Mason running at Southside Speedway, I'm just covering a little bit so we can kind of get to know these guys a little bit before they come on here. But Mason, he came from modifieds at Southside Speedway. There he is. Hey, Mason. And he jumped from modifieds to the late models. And I was talking to him the other day about watching the videos and reading up on his night he pulled double duty out there at Southside Speedway. So we'll let him in a little while talk about what he's going to do for this season, and let him give some shout outs to different people, stuff like that. Like I said, if you guys got any questions for him, pop them on here. We'll ask him. Let's see. Austin might be caught up right now. Mason, you want to try and hop on here, buddy? We'll get you on here first. And I'm just sending Austin a message. Let him know. He's probably busy. Like I said, he's getting the car ready. He was getting the car ready last week. I was talking to him and stuff like that, so he might not be ready yet. All right. Let's see if we can get Mason on here real quick. Let me see if there's anything else while I'm thinking about it. I don't think so. We kind of covered our bases. To start off, like I said, sorry guys, I'm a little worn. I'm running around all week, so I was trying to get everything done so I wouldn't have to throw it all together, and I pushed it to the last minute. So at least we got on here, and we're all good for now. But all right, let's see. Mason said he's good to go, so he can hop on here. There he is. Hey, man, can you hear me? Yes, sir. All right. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and bring on Mason on here. And like I said, if you got any questions or anything, pop them in the chat right there. We'll ask him. And we're going to see if we can get some good topics covered in here. How you doing, man?
Dude, awesome, man. I get to take the primetime spot right from Austin, huh?
Yeah. He told me, like I said, he told me last week he was working on the car, and I messaged him earlier, make sure he was still good, but he might have got caught up under the car or something, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's actually where I'm heading. I was going to just hop on the computer at the race shop, but I figured I'd tune in on the way there, so I'm glad I did.
I got you, man. You working on that off-season beard? What's up?
Yeah. So I've never really grown a beard or anything, but started off just getting lazy, and then kind of was like, why just cut it? Like, I'll just let it go for a little bit, so we'll hop in the car either this weekend or next weekend, and before I get in, I'll take it off. But
I got you. I mean, you could leave it and wait till for a victory, make it a victory lane thing.
oh man, I'd hate to do that. I might be down to my knees. You just never know when it's going to come again.
Yeah, that is pushing it a little bit. But why don't you give us a heads up of what you're kind of going to be doing this year, the series you're going to be running, things like that.
Yeah, so this year, really excited about this year. We've run Southside and we've run a little bit of Dominion and done a little bit here and there, but usually we run like 10 to 12 races a year. This year is going to be a really big year for us, and I'm really excited about it. We're going to be running Dominion full time, and I'm hoping we can take our second car and do a little bit of traveling with it. Maybe not a whole lot, but enough, venture around, something we don't usually do. And then also we got a third car. I don't want to spill the beans on what it is yet, but it's not an asphalt late model, I'll tell you that much. So I'm really excited about that too. If I could run 2 or 3 races in that, I'd be happy also. So
Are you still working with Chris Phillips pretty good on all that stuff, or you guys got main sponsors you're working with now, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So super tight with Chris, so obviously my day job is working for him over there at Americana Construction and Sierra Phillips, which I know you know.
Yes, sir.
And then on the racing side, we're still running out of his shop, running a lot of his cars. But we've also partnered up with Dave Atkinson with A&A Contractors, and that's kind of taken us to another level. And that's going to be the car we run full-time at Dominion is going to be Big D's. So that's going to be a pretty A&A paving NASCAR late model. So we're really excited about that, and just super fortunate to have 2 excellent car owners,
Yeah, I've always thought a lot of Chris. He was never the guy that wanted to drive himself, but he's had a lot of opportunity to put people in cars, and I was really glad to see him put you in a car. You're a really talented kid, and we've seen you grow a long way, at Southside and stuff like that.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's really special to find a car owner, let alone, someone as committed as Chris, and then to find Chris and Dave Atkinson. I mean, oh my gosh, like what are the odds of that, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Blessed really, it's not even the word. I don't know. Can't really put it into words.
So I wanted to ask you also while we're on here, what kind of got you started in racing? I know a lot of people don't know, probably some people do, but you kind of started in karting like I'm still in right now. So was it a family thing, or did you just come to mom and dad and say, I want to race? What was up?
Yeah, so it was a little bit of both. My dad grew up running flat track motorcycles, which I know they're coming to Capital here. You got me?
Yeah, I think so now. It's a little blurry.
But yeah, no, it's a little. It keeps cutting out. I got somebody trying to call me, and I guess it kicks it over. But so anyway, third time, it was a little bit of both. My dad ran flat track motorcycles, and so I was kind of like exposed to racing. But what really did it is I think my mom threw me a birthday party at G-Force go-karts, and I did it. And I like seriously was a competitive kid, and I made dad like every Wednesday. So,
Yeah, we're
kinda how
we're
we
losing
met,
you,
and then
Mason.
we met Bubba Chisholm. You got me?
I think we got you again now, but we were losing you there for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know what's up, but anyway, so we chilled at G-Force for a while, and then we met Bubba Chisholm and Dylan Lovin, and they got us in over at Capital City, and then rest is history.
Yeah, and I know Dylan Loving. I think anybody been around G-Force or karts at Capital City or anything like that kind of
That's
knows
right.
who Dylan is. He's made his way around. He's a good little wheel man, dude. So
He really is, and he's a great guy too.
yeah, he's a character. I can tell you that much. Also, so what age were you when you started racing, like Capital City specifically?
I want to say that started like I think I was about 10 years old, 10 or 11.
I got you.
It
Okay.
was fourth or fifth grade, so it was. I don't know. To some people, that's a late start. Some people will think that's a really early start. So I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that's earlier than I started. So
yeah, it's just it's crazy. You know, a lot of those kids started in the kid karts and all that. So I remember running blue plate champ karts, and all my competition had been running for 4 or 5 years by then.
yep. And did you end up winning a VDKA championship or just some VDKA races?
No, so we were really fortunate. My dad did my tires, and he was a hell of a tire guy. And which is, if you don't know, that's what go-karts is all about. So we won 2 state championships with the VDK series. So that was really special. Those leather jackets were something I still have and I still enjoy looking at. And
Oh yeah,
on to for a long time. A lot
they're
of
still
people
coveted.
they don't. A lot of people don't appreciate what it takes to get one of those.
Yeah, I've been at it for 15 years now. I haven't had the fortune of getting one of those, but
I
never
hold it
know what's
right
down
up
the
there.
road.
Yeah, I hold it right up there with the modified championship from Southside. It is just as much work, time, and sweat that goes into it. And the competition is as good, if not better, than a lot of the big car stuff.
Absolutely. So the age you were at, were you about the same age as Brandon Brown when he was running?
He was, I think he was 2 or 3 years older than I was. But yeah, I remember watching him. He was always a division above me.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so I kind of just wanted to cover a little bit of how you got started in racing and where you are now, and I'm glad you got to talking about Dominion. I kind of want to go check out that place. I've only been there once, and I think that was for the go-kart track. I don't think I have had the pleasure of going to see the cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, interesting place, kind of like G-Force, but a little different.
Right. Yeah, it's a
What do
pretty
you
cool place.
do? Yeah, it is. What do you do in the off season? Because late model stuff around Virginia and stuff like that isn't racing full time in the off season, like winter months. What are you doing in the off season to kind of stay in shape and in the mindset?
It's really just working on the cars. So we do pretty much everything ourselves. Shocks and transmissions. So I'm busy just turning these cars around is what it really is.
So Chris got you turning wrenches, huh?
Oh yeah, I've always done that, because with my modified, we got that, and somebody had to work on it, so it was me. And since then, I've done as much as I can, which is, like I said, pretty much anything other than transmissions, motors, and shocks. And I enjoy working on them. I take a lot of pride in building them and then racing them and then winning them. So
I got you.
it's special.
Yeah, late model is something that I thoroughly have enjoyed watching throughout all of my years of enjoying racing, and it's something that I have never really been able to get too close to. Most people I know, have been street stocks and stuff like that, the little bit lower divisions.
Right.
But what made the decision for you guys to transfer from the modifieds with the success you were having to the late models?
So the modified was something that essentially I purchased that myself. So my dad let me sell the go-kart stuff, right, which was not mine. I didn't own it. I was 14 at the time. You let me sell that and take any of that money and put it towards a race car. And I came up with sponsorship to cover the difference. So that was something that me and my dad owned together, and we kept that on the back patio at his house under a tarp. And we worked on it and raced that, and we did really well. Really, really proud of what we were able to do. And then Chris Phillips approached me, and he owned late models and sponsored late models, and through his business was able to procure other sponsorship. So, he told me in 2016 that he wanted to put me in for 2017. And so we said, heck yeah, man. So we took it and we ran with it. So I've always run his cars since. And we sold the modified. So that's kind of how we got into late models. But even before then, late models was the end goal. Kind of like you, I always loved late models and enjoyed them. And I knew that's where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could never get the sponsor pitch quite right. I need some money to get a race car together. What credentials have you got? I've never driven one, but I need money so I can go drive one.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Gosh, it's the most stressful part, and I'm really fortunate that I don't have to do a whole lot of that anymore. It's kind of crazy how these things come together for us.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning, yeah, I was like 14, and I sat in front of a board of directors for ABS Technology Architects, and it was a bunch of like older guys, and I had pitched to them, and I don't know why they decided to give me a bunch of money, but they did. I guess fake it till you make it. I
Yeah.
kind of pretended like I had a whole race team, and I really didn't. Like I said, we didn't have the modify at the time, and we just kept it at the back porch under a tarp. So, yeah, I don't know how we pulled that one off. If it wasn't for that one deal, then I probably wouldn't be where I am today.
Well, there was a lot on your shoulders at that time, and it speaks volumes when people can perform on and off the track. Those sponsor pitches are really important. So not only did you do it off on the track, you went and showed off the track that you could do it too. So that's impressive, man.
Yeah, thank you. I think I don't think a lot of people appreciate how the finances work in short track racing. There's not too many people who really run off of sponsorship money.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly family funded, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when I guess people assume that it's all sponsored, and it's really not. So to go out there and get sponsorship for what we do is something I'm like really proud of, because it's so hard. Um, Man, but yeah, so that's how we pulled it off, and we still do. Um, I think people think Chris spends a lot more money than he does. He really doesn't put a whole lot in. That's why you don't see CR Phillips on many of his cars. It's all a bunch of businesses that throw in for the cause.
Yeah, I saw the picture that I shared. I noticed Shell Brothers on the side of the car and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah,
So,
great example, great company. I worked for them for a little bit. I interned, had a ton of fun, but yeah, they're a home builder, and that was a legitimate sponsorship. And gosh, we had so much fun with them. Great company.
yeah, they're actually up here in Delaware too. So that was ironic. It was just a company that I recognized.
Yeah, yep, up in Rehoboth. They're really killing it up there, and they're new to the Richmond market and building over there in Chesterfield. And they decided that Southside Speedway was kind of a staple of Chesterfield County, and they wanted to invest in short track racing. And I think it paid off. I sold 3 homes for them, so financially they had a pretty stout ROI. So
That's pretty awesome.
yep.
Yeah. So I know there's there's not as many tracks in Virginia as there used to be. So what made you guys make the decision to go to Dominion after, I mean, obviously Southside, that this closing down, that's unfortunate, but what made you guys decide to go to Dominion? Because you already had experience there, or?
I think it was just reason number one. It was the next closest track geographically. You know, Southside's about 30 minutes away. Dominion's 40 minutes tops from us, whereas South Boston's, you know, another hour and a half, and Langley's another 2 or whatever. So geographically, and then the second part is the car counts and the environment there. Like it's a really awesome place. You know, the facilities are top notch. So when you are bringing sponsors to a racetrack, like that's where you want to take them, is somewhere with the big screen and a bar and grill and live music.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Southside was a great place to take them, but for completely different reasons. That was just
It had racing culture.
Exactly, yeah, nitty gritty bull ring. But if you're trying to woo sponsors, Dominion's the place to go. And then the car counts were excellent. You know, last year I don't think we ever had less than 20 cars. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was. So, I know we've had some stout car counts for sure.
Have you guys? I don't know if you did last year or not, or I'm having a hard time remembering the Martinsville, the Valley Star race. Did you guys go run that, or have you made plans to run that?
Yeah, so we ran that once in our own car. We didn't do too hot. That was kind of humbling, I guess. That was the year we won like 5 or 6 late model races at Southside, and then we went and we tried our hand at the Valley Star, and we didn't really set ourselves up for success. We didn't take the right engine package. We didn't really know better at the time, to be honest. I think we qualified 60th out of 107, so it was pretty dismal. And then we went again with the Jersey Mike's crew. Robbie Waldrop put me in his car, which was really neat, and we had a lot of fun. But I think again we took the wrong engine package, and we weren't prepared, because those guys run on those 10-inch tires all year long, and they were in a much better place than we were, coming from the 8-inch tires with the built motors at Southside. So we've gone twice and we didn't have stellar results. So the next time we go, it's going to be one of those deals where I'm not going unless I think we can do ourselves justice, you know?
Yeah, I got you. I know it's, you mentioned Waldrop. I haven't heard that name in a long time. But I'm glad to hear that name's still around racing. Are they running it again this year?
The Valley Star?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're running that this year, and then they're taking the modifieds there also. I don't think that's the same weekend though, now that I think about it.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see. How about the Denny Hamlin Short Track Showdown? That's the other race I was going to ask.
Yeah, so I think that is done. I'm not sure they're running that anymore. I think this past summer was the first year they didn't do it. So that was a race that I grew up watching at Southside. And man, I wish they were still running it and still running at Southside, because I think we're super competitive at Southside, and that'd be.
Lee said, yeah, it's done. Another guy, he follows along with all this stuff. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I remember the first year, I think it was at South Boston, and then transitioning to Langley and things like that. I think Langley was a good track for them too. But I always wondered why they didn't have something at Southside, being that was Denny Hamlin's home track.
Yeah, it was a sad deal. The rumor, which is pretty believable, is that the deal was he paid her a fee to rent the track. That's what he did, and he took all the ticket sales and everything for his charity. And then when she found out and saw how many people he was drawing in for the crowd, she got really envious and then just gave him some ridiculous number that he wasn't going to pay for. So he took it to Langley and South Boston, where they did just as good. So it's a shame, but that's the way I understand it.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing when you have these expectations of what the race is going to be or where the race is going to be, and then things are always up in the air, but it just shows in the racing world you can't have all these expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple stories like that at Southside.
Awesome. Austin, can you hear me? All right. So Mason, we got Austin here. He's going to join us too for the second half of this thing. We're going to get a little bit of you guys in the middle here. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Mr. Austin Thaxton, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How about you?
Pretty good, man. Getting a little conversation with Mason here while he's on his way to the shop. Looks like you're already there.
Yeah, I had to go to the machine shop and pick some parts up, and I just got here and realized what time it was.
Yeah, it's no problem. Like I said, I figured it was something with the car. I know this racing is a sport where you're always working on something, stuff breaks, things happen. So, I mean, it is what it is, dude. You got to do what you got to do. So, we're just glad to have you on here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
So, I was talking to Mason about his plans for the season. I know you guys typically run South Boston usually. Do you have any plans, Austin, of going anywhere, Dominion or anywhere else like that?
Not with my car. If we go anywhere with my car, it would probably be Motor Mile, maybe Langley. But I've been working with Lee Pulliam, so I'm basically I'm up there full time, and I work with my stuff at night. And we're racing the Cars Tour with Brandon Pierce and Jonathan Schaefer. So we stay at a racetrack every weekend. So I'm gonna race on the off weekends, and then probably gonna take the weekends that we don't have anything going on. Probably gonna be at the lake or something.
That's a good idea there. All that work, man, it just wears you down, especially in racing stuff. It's fun until it's the work time, and then it'll make you pull your hair out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I also asked Mason about the Valley Star race. Is that something that you guys use? I think you ran it once or twice, didn't you?
Yeah, I've run it 4 or 5 times. But I don't really know what I'm gonna do this year yet. We'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there, I guess. I'm supposed to be there with Lee's cars, but I'm not real sure who we got running yet. So I know Brandon will be there, but I don't know if we're taking any other cars. If we're not taking any other cars, then I'll probably go. But the main priority for me is all the stuff with Lee's cars, except for South Boston. So I'll run South Boston full time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. I mentioned Southside Speedway shutting down. That was a big staple in Virginia of racing, and South Boston was the next one that comes to my mind. That's where I grew up knowing about racing and things like that. And Austin, how long have you been running late models?
I started running late models in 2014, I think. We ran one race the year before. It was like the big 200 lap race, and we just took a little bit older car and just to try to get my feet wet. And we were running 13th and had a wreck, and we totally lost the car. So that's not a real good way to start my late model career. But we were running pretty good. Just as we was in a bad spot at the time. So, but after that, we started running full time. I think it was 2014.
So let me ask both of you guys too, while you're both here. You said you're gonna kind of run with Lee Pulliam a little bit, and Mason, I know you're running with Chris a lot. Is there a little bit of not holding back, but a little bit of your mind's a little bit rough when you're driving, and you got a lot more eyes on you? The more attention you're getting, and the more sponsors you're getting, and things like that. Is it getting a little bit rougher to stay on top of the game when you're on the track?
I mean, yeah, I think so. The sponsorship aspect for me, that was the biggest thing, was the sponsorship. Um, and I've had sponsors who didn't care so much about the performance, but more about the presentation and everything. But this year is different. It's all about the performance, and nobody really cares about the presentation of it. So that's a little nerve wracking, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure. And Austin, with Lee, being partner, kind of hanging out with Lee Pulliam and those guys, there's a big reputation around, with them in the late model division. They're the big guys to beat everywhere they go.
Oh,
So
for sure, man. It's last year, was the first year that I worked with him, and so we didn't get to race very much. We ran 4 times, and over the winter, I had changed a bunch of stuff on my car, trying to make it what I thought was going to be better for South Boston, and we didn't really test hardly any. We decided on like a Thursday that me and him both were going to go to Myrtle Beach and race because it was going to be the last time he got to race there, and it was going to be the first time that I ever got to race there. So we decided on like a Thursday that we were going down, and we rolled in and got there Friday, well, I guess Saturday morning at like 2 o'clock, and just ran a morning practice. And I really wasn't prepared, but I said, well, as many wins as he's got there, I can lean on him a little bit. And I thought we were going to be pretty good, and just kind of had some bad luck. But when you roll in and people know that I'm working with him now, everybody's expecting me to be as good as him, and that's definitely not the case. I'm nowhere near as good as him. I put in as much work, but he's a very talented guy, and it's cool to work with him. But when he goes to the racetrack, it's a little bit different than when I do. He's got a shot to win every time he goes, and I like to think we do, but he's always in a position to win. So it's a little bit tough trying to follow in those shoes.
I'm sure it is. Now, so Mason, he mentioned, he's got Lee Pulliam. He's kind of working with some and leaning on him a little bit. Do you have anybody at like maybe Southside Dominion that you've been able to kind of partner up with, learn some things from, stuff like that?
Yeah, so pretty much since I've started running, I've been really close and had a lot of guidance from a gentleman named Hoyt Overball. And I don't know if anybody would know who he is, maybe listen to this, but he's an ex-Cup engineer from Chesterfield, and he was real tight with Shane Lockhart, and he kind of oversaw that K&N operation that I worked for with Sam Hunt. And the guy's just a genius, so he is the reason my cars were any good at Southside. And then this year we're going with Tyler Hughes up at Dominion, so we're really excited about that. So always had someone I could lean on for the most part.
That's great. Yeah, I think racing's a sport where you think at first that you're the one behind the wheel. You don't need to lean on anybody, but once you get out of that car, you realize that there's a whole lot of people you're gonna have to lean on, and a lot of different aspects to this racing world.
Yeah,
So
it's the opposite. You're at the mercy of your car and those who are working on it. So that's
exactly.
why I enjoy working on it so much. Kind of put the cards in my favor.
Yeah, I think that's what Austin's trying to do too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And now I know before Austin, Mason, before we let you get off of here, man, I just wanted to know if you got any tips for any guys that are coming up, or young guys that are maybe running a modified or a legend car or whatever to further their career, maybe, and kind of give them that extra push they want to keep going.
Man, that's a tough question. I think just like get involved. Like, if your goal is to get into late models, just get involved in late models. Just turn some wrenches on someone's car and figure out how they do it. And that's part of it. And then also too is just align yourself with like winners, right? Both like literally and figuratively. So I think that was something that helped me a ton, is just being around people like Shane Lockhart and Hoyt and Sam Hunt, people who like had tons of success. So they teach you the right way to do things. So that'd be my advice, is get involved and find winners and try to ride their coattails.
Absolutely. So Mason, we're going to let you get off of here, man. I know you're there. You're waiting for you so you can go inside to work on the car. And we really appreciate you coming on here. We're going to talk to Austin for a little bit. So,
Yeah.
like I said, if you guys had any questions for Austin, go ahead and post them in here. But we really appreciate you coming on here, Mason. It was really good talking to you, man. And maybe we'll see if we can get you back on here in the future. All right.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, man. And thanks for hosting the podcast. It's really great.
Absolutely. And good luck this season, man. We hope to see you in
I'll need
victory
all
lane.
of it. Thank you.
No problem, man.
See ya.
See ya. All right, Austin. So now we covered a lot with Mason. But I know, like I said, I know you were doing some stuff. I had some questions laid out I wanted to ask you, knowing that you work with Lee and stuff like that. He was a big guy that I watched him and Deke McCaskill battle it out a lot at South Boston Speedway. So is there a moment that watching a race that you remember that influenced you to want to get into the late models and want to be with those, like around those guys?
You know, I grew up around the racetrack. My grandma and grandpa had cars, you know, way before I was ever born. So, you know, I was at a racetrack every Saturday night, and you know, back what I grew up watching was you know, when Lee was coming up, and Justin Johnson and Wayne Ramsey, Deke, and those guys were, you know, battling every week at South Boston, and we were there. I guess it was probably, I don't know. It was the last year that Nick Smith was driving the DA car, and they put on a hell of a show. And I made my mind up then. I said, man, I want to be like those guys. You know, them. They were all out there just doing all they could do, trying to win. And you know, as I knew that, you know, we had a car in the race, and uh, we have, I guess, missed the setup a little bit that night and just weren't in the hunt. But the guys up front, man, they were putting on a show, and I said, man, that's gonna be me one day. So, you know, fortunately, the path has led me to that, and you know, I feel like that most weeks we're, if I don't get the car screwed up, we're in the hunt, you know, to be near the front for a win.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's hard to the late model stock division is probably the hardest division to be in the country. You know, the supers and all, they put on good shows, but everybody you talk to, if you can run good in a late model stock car, you can run good in anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's so many more, I think, late models than any other series you're going to go to. Even the super late models, anything like that. You know, the late model division, you might go to 5 or 6 different tracks, and it'll be 20 different cars there, and that's just in one state. And I mean, the late model division's really grown over the years, especially. But I remember watching Nick Smith and Deke and Lee and all those guys myself. But the racing that we were doing, it was just a different type of racing. So the late models was something I was always interested in, and honestly, I think I've just enjoyed watching them more than I would have driving them, because
Yeah.
the headache of tearing stuff up and having sponsor pressure and things like that is something that people have to realize that it's a lot when it comes to that stuff.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure.
and we mentioned with Mason that he has, Shell Brothers and CR Phillips, which is a company me and him both worked for, and some other sponsors like that. But I know you have the Italian Delight.
Yep.
So how did you come up with that sponsor?
You know, they Andrea and his brother Vinny have a Italian restaurant here in South Boston, and they have been involved in racing for, I guess, going on a little over 20 years, sponsoring different stuff and sponsoring the racetrack. And I just went in there one day, and I asked Andrea. I said, "Hey man," I said, "I'd like to talk to you a little bit about you know, see if you'd be interested in sponsoring my car." At the time, the only sponsor that I had was my grandma's trucking company. I had a really good sponsor, and some things went south there, and you know, I was kind of sponsorless. So in order to run up front, you got to spend a lot of money, and I feel like that South Boston is one of probably the toughest tracks to run good, so I really needed some help to do that, and he come on board, and we just hit it off really good, and actually 2 years ago I built him a little Hornet car that we race at South Boston too. So I mean, he loves it, man. We're actually I built him another car. It was going to be for the beginning of last year, and then of course we didn't get to race. So we're going to start the year off with a new car with him, and he's really excited. We're actually going to go test it tomorrow. He hadn't been in a car. We went and tested it at Orange County one time last year, just one pretty day to just go, and he hasn't been in the car since then. So we're gonna go see if we can get him dialed in the morning, and hopefully he can get a win this year.
Well, I think he's got the right guy working on it, Austin. You've been to victory lane, a couple times, a little more than a couple times down in South Boston. But I want to know, what was it like after seeing the late models and wanting to race those? The first time you won a race, was that the moment that you immediately knew you were sticking with this and this was where you were meant to be?
Oh yeah, man. It's no other feeling like it. You know, people say it's the most addicting thing in the world, and I don't think that I have an addicting attitude at life, but I can't get enough of it. I've said several times, this is gonna be my last year, yada yada yada, and somehow or another, I just can't let it go. Last year I was at the racetrack with Lee, like a lot, and every week we'd be coming home, I'd be thinking to myself, this is so stupid. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I could be home, got me a steak or something, and by the time I wake up the next morning, I was ready to go again. So, it's been a part of my life forever, and hopefully I can keep it that way.
Yeah, I think racing is an addictive sport, whether people see it or not, and that's why we're doing something like this show. I think it gets a lot of names and a lot of information out there if people want to get into racing or they want to see. And I think having you and Mason on here for the late model division, there's two good guys, two good faces to have on here. So I thought that was a good way to set us up into grow in this show and things like that. But I think I actually, the first time I ever went down to no, not the first time, probably about the third time I ever went down to South Boston, I think you were just starting in the late model division, and you were up in the stands talking to somebody before the race, and I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And you ran decent, you ran okay. I mean, it wasn't one that like caught my attention.
We probably knocked a clip off. If it was towards the beginning, I tore a lot of stuff up.
I recognize the name now from that night. I was literally like maybe 15 feet from you. I think you were talking to your grandparents right there, or somebody right here in the stands.
I got you.
And it was cool to see you get your first victory, man, and kind of grow from that. And the different sizes and calibers of races that you're kind of getting into now with Lee, do you think that's going to draw you in even harder, and there's no way you're going to get out of it? Like, say you go out in the Valley Star race and you go out and win that Valley Star race. You think there's any way you're ever going to get out of that car if you go out and win that thing?
I don't know, man. We put a lot of time and effort into these things, and it's you get the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and you try not to let the lows be that bad, but you know, there's a lot of other stuff in the world other than just racing.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that a little bit last year, and it's not something that I ever would have thought I would get out, but I working with Lee made me realize how much that I do enjoy driving. I didn't, I love working on them. That's what I'm good at doing. I'm a lot better working on them than I am driving them, but I enjoy driving them a lot too. So It if it ever gets to the point where I can't be in the driver's seat, then I would probably get out. But hopefully, as long as I still got a job and I can afford to do it, and got the good sponsors that I got, then I'm gonna keep on doing it.
So we also, I know we talked about the Denny Hamlin Short Track Showdown being closed down and all that stuff like that. Is Lee? I had read something. Is Lee still going to be racing, or is he stepping out of the seat?
Um, I don't really know. I think he'll probably race on the off weekends, kind of like me. But um, he's got a little girl and a family, his wife, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he really enjoys his time off. I mean, he still loves it, but I think if it comes down between spending time with his family and racing himself, I don't know what he would do. That'd be a hard decision. I don't really know. Um, like I said, I know he still loves it, but I don't think he loves it enough to go try to race for another national championship right now.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we are. I mean, I got out of the seat a little bit, and my wife's wanting to race. We race in the karts and stuff. Same thing where Mason Bailey started. And my wife's wanting to race this year, so we got a camper and we got a little 2-year-old girl. We're gonna pack them all in the camper and we're gonna go to the racetrack and we're gonna race. So
I got you. Well, that's cool.
we'll maybe we'll come out to South Boston if we get a week off weekend this year, and we'll catch you in the pit or something like that. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Is there are there anybody for that's working on your car right now, like this season, helping you out that you want to give a shout out to while you're on here?
Most of the time it's just me, and I got a couple guys that help me. Charlie DeJoynt, he's I don't know if you've seen the modified car that I race sometimes.
Hmm.
He actually owns that car. He's down here with me all the time, and um, I got a guy, Brian Creasy. He's been with me. All the guys basically that helped me have been with me from the limited car days. Um, and my buddy Daniel Cruz, he spots for me, so we have a good time at the racetrack, and then go on the lake on Sunday and have a good time too. So um, it's most of the time at the shop, they all down here hanging out, but it's just me tonight. We trying to. I got a lot to do to get this thing ready if we're gonna race next weekend. So it's trying to get some wiring done, and really not a lot that they can do. So I just told them I was gonna handle it tonight. So
Yeah, I got you. I asked Mason earlier too, and I wanted to kind of get an idea for you. I know when it's cold outside, you're not really going to the lake. So in your off season, what are you doing? What are you doing to pass the time, man? What are you doing at home?
um, well, I've got four go karts. They're like some old mid '90s flat carts, and we ride them out here in the parking lot, set some tires up, and we my buddy Craig Moore's got a track in his backyard that's really nice, and when it isn't soaking wet, we go up there and ride. But mostly I'm either at the shop or sleeping. So, um, especially with all the stuff that's going on. Normally, me and my wife take a vacation during the all season, but hadn't really been able to do that. So, um, my buddy Daniel that spots for me, he got married over the winter, so we had a big party and all for that. But basically, just work on at the shop, man. I work I work during the day at Lee's, and um, my grandma's got the trucking company, so I drive a mail truck some during the winter, just during the busy season. And I've got a business that I try to run, building hot rods, race cars, whatever. So, I mean, I'm at the shop a lot. I'm
Sounds like it.
that's I don't really have a lot of hobbies. If it don't have a motor and tires, then I don't really do much with it.
Yeah, I took the venture into iRacing, so we're testing that out, see how that's gonna go.
Yeah, I've got a little rig set up in my office at the shop, but I haven't been on it much. I've been just been thrashing, trying to get a bunch of stuff done. So
Honestly, what I've stuck to the late models, so
I got you.
that's all I wanted. But
Yeah, I got you.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I thought, the guys, the first week I had on here, the karting guys, a lot of those guys, they do the iRacing, so they kind of talked me into it a while back.
I
But
got you. I run the modified a lot on there. The late model, I ain't got the hang of it yet. It's I think it's a lot harder than it is in real life. So go to the modifieds. They're a little bit more forgiving, I guess.
oh yeah, the modified at South Boston's a lot of fun on there, man. That
For
thing's
sure.
awesome.
Yep.
Well, I know you got a lot to do, and I don't want to keep you too long. I mean, I think we had a good amount of time on here, but um, I'd like to get you out to Capital City or something like that, or a state race this year, man. Let you check out some karting stuff. I know your late models is a little bigger than karting stuff, but it's a lot of fun watching these races too, just like it is watching late models. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
if you get
but
a,
if I'm gonna come, I'm gonna have to be able to drive it. That's the only way I'm coming.
we might can work something out. Message me beforehand. Let me know.
All right, that sounds good.
But Austin, is there any last thing? Is there anybody you want to any news you want to let out for the year, or plans, or anything like that you want to let everybody
No,
know?
not really. We're gonna try to head to South Boston maybe next weekend if I get the car done. I built a new car at my shop over the winter, and that was a pretty big feat. So it's the first chassis that's gonna leave my shop that I built myself. So we'll see how it does. If we run really good, then know I built it. If we don't run really good, don't tell anybody.
Well, they heard it here first.
Yeah.
I got a
So,
guy that just commented. He said he's got a champ cart for you if you want to ride.
hey, count me in. I'm ready. Tell me you're gonna need a big boy seat though this winter. I guess I ate a little too much. Gotta get some diet plan.
Oh man, I could not stick to anything. I think I gained 20 pounds in the off season.
Man, I don't even want to get on the scales.
Uh, I'm scared to now. He said you got to come to Albemarle to ride it, Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
I'll be there. Count me in.
All right. You heard it here, Lee. And for those guys watching, we want to thank these guys, Mason and Austin, for coming on here. We had a lot of fun talking to you guys, and I've mentioned it before. I love late model racing. It's like my favorite racing to watch and to play on iRacing, to talk about. I love late models. I met Kyle Busch down at KBM, and that's all he wanted to talk about too. He loves late models too. So it's late model racing is a cool thing. It's really awesome, and to get two of you guys on here that are not just steering wheel holders, but you guys have been in victory lane, man, both of you guys. So we want to say thanks for coming on here and hanging out with us and talking to us and making a little bit of time.
Yeah, man, for sure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stay in contact, man. I'll shoot you a message when we're going down to Albemarle and let you know. All right.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. Good luck next weekend too.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. I wanted to take a few minutes here towards the end too. Just of course, we have the first guest announcement for next week, and before I announce who that is, I wanted to let you guys know that after looking at the plans and seeing how this week went and things like that, and listening to feedback from people, next week we're going to move to Thursday nights going forward at 6 o'clock. I know a lot of people are going to be working in the shop on Fridays, so they're not going to have a whole lot of time to do this stuff, to sit here and watch this. We want as many people to have the opportunity as possible. It's still going to be on YouTube and things like that, but like I said, we're going to be moving to Thursday nights at 6 o'clock. So next Thursday, episode 4, tune in. It's going to be Thursday night at 6 o'clock. And our first guest we're going to have on next week is a dirt limited stock driver from Virginia Motor Speedway, and that's going to be Mr. Corey Bradley. I'll share his info on here, and also we'll probably stay in contact with most of the guys that have been on here: Austin, Wyatt, Austin Thaxton, Matthew Robinson, Mason Bailey, Chris Beasley, Doug Johnson. We'll be posting, big races for them, big wins, things like that. Maybe a schedule here and there, and we want to make sure that those guys get the attention and the publicity, I guess you could say, that they deserve. This is a platform for all you guys. Oh, come on, Lee. You already know who's going to be on next week. That's not fair, man. Don't spoil it for anybody. But yeah, Corey Bradley, he's going to be our first guest. And then we're going to move our announcements for our second guest to Mondays. So Monday, usually afternoon, 4 o'clock, something like that. It honestly depends on when I get off of work. Yeah, check out Mondays. We're going to be doing our second guest announcement. So be on the lookout for that. Short week this week. So, and we'll be at Capital City tomorrow. Maybe we'll go live for a couple people. See who's there. Everybody's preparing for the Spring Gobbler at Capital City for next weekend. So if you get a chance, you can check out Capital City. South Boston's racing, not this weekend, but next weekend also. Albemarle's practicing tomorrow. There's a lot of racing getting started back up. So we're pretty excited and can't wait to get to the racetrack. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close the show out, guys. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for all the comments. Lee, you were blowing my comment section up, buddy. Again, thanks for Mason and Austin for being on here so much. It was so cool to get to talk to late model drivers, a couple of late model guys. Maybe we'll get some more on here. Guest suggestions, I'm always open to those too. If you guys want to see somebody in a series, anything, no matter what it is, you let me know. And we'll make it happen. I got a couple more episodes booked out, but I'm trying to open it up, hear from you guys. So let me know. All right. As always, follow along on Facebook and like and follow the page there, Shady Speed Show, and then Shady Speed Weekly on YouTube. Okay. Click like and subscribe on there, guys. So we'll see you guys Monday first and Thursday night at 6 o'clock.